Last time on Fairy Tale, the 100 Years Quest, it was the rematch of Laxus versus Kieran from the Diablos Guild, where we discovered the truth about what a Dragon Slayer Lacrima actually is. It is the crystallized heart of a dragon, and Laxus contains the heart of the Thunder King. And as it turns out, Kieran consumed the Thunder King dragon, imprisoning the king's soul within his coffin. Now, Kieran has serendipitously found the last remaining part that he wishes to consume, and it lies deep within Laxus. Now, Laxus has taken this fight personally now, wanting to free the soul of the king. But can he do it? As every time he is struck by the coffin, the soul and the heart within Laxus resonate and throw Laxus off just a little bit. Can Laxus overcome this weird situation and free the soul of the king and take down Kieran to boot? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Chapter 110, A Grudgeful Void. A grudgeful void. The Lacrima returns to its thunderous origin. And there's Ivan behind Laxus. Man, Ivan hasn't been... I'm pretty sure that's his name. Laxus' dad hasn't been relevant to the story in a good long time. Not since the Grand Magic Games, right? I don't think so. And I'm still wondering, how did he come upon the Dragon Slayer Lacrima to begin with? I mean, during the story arc, we found out that dragons can live without having their heart within their body. But who removed the Thunder King's heart? Who transformed it into a Dragon Slayer Lacrima? Who did all of this work? And you see it, Kieran crackling with lightning, Laxus doing so as well. Kieran grabs his coffin and swings it down onto Laxus. Laxus aptly avoids the coffin bearing down on him and goes in for a kick, which Kieran easily manages to block with his hand. Kieran then reels back with a lightning-filled fist, ready to strike at Laxus. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. And Kieran unleashes, I think it's multiple strikes simultaneously onto Laxus, raining blow after blow after blow after blow, completely overwhelming Laxus. Kieran smugly says, "Did you think you could beat the king?" And as Laxus hits the ground, Kieran reels back the coffin by its chain and then sends it flying towards Laxus as Kieran screams, "Now! Election!" Oh, the coffin pops open, much to Laxus's shock. And then Laxus is consumed by the coffin, so he ends up inside the coffin. I'm still wondering how Kieran managed to seal the Thunder King's soul within a coffin. Jeez. Kieran has this manic look on his face, filled with delight and glee, I guess thinking he finally achieved his goal as he says, "Now is the chance to eat him! Reclaim your heart! Devour Laxus, and be whole!" Whoa! And Laxus is being torn apart within the... so wild. And now we're flashing back 30 years ago. Okay. I think we're finally gonna see... Maybe it's either gonna be... Alright, let me predict this now. It's either gonna be how Alexion the Thunder King lost his heart, or it's gonna be why Ivan put the Lacrima into Laxus. Maybe? Oh. Okay, so you see the former master of Diablos, Master George, having just freshly slain Alexion. And you see a young baby boy Kieran. So Alexion was slain first, and then his heart was lost. Wow. And the young baby boy Kieran says in a shaky voice, "Amazing, you really beat a dragon." George, bloody, bruised, and panting, says, "He was the Thunder Dragon King Alexion. Eat his flesh, so his power will be all yours." I gotta say, this is probably the most interesting thing George has done like, like George was described as such a badass, and Celine took him down so easily, so I wasn't sure if it would actually matter to the story again. But I mean, George had all these dragon slayers consume all of these dragons. I mean, was he just building up an army? Was that all there was to it? Kieran looks apprehensive at the thought of eating him, but next thing you see, Alexion is nothing but bones. Yo! We see George bandaged up, and Kieran then says, still munching on dragon, I can't eat his heart? George, holding up the heart of the dragon, says, I'm gonna sell it on the continent down south. Maybe there's some shady wizard who will process this heart into a gem. Okay, so George knew he could make a lacrima out of a dragon's heart. I mean, how old is that process, though, of creating a lacrima from a dragon's heart? How do they know that that would give you power? I mean, is that just some ancient secret from the days when dragons roamed the earth in mass droves, or is it something else? Okay, and then we cut back to the Diablos guild all that time ago, and Kieran seems shaky. He says to George, Master, since I ate it, I've been having these non-stop nightmares. This is the dragon's curse. And George says, there's no such thing. Did you forget? We're dragon eaters. Eating dragons is what we do. Is that all there is to it, George? You just eat dragons? You see Kieran still shaking. You see him in bed, and he hears the voice of, I guess, Alexion. Return my heart, return my heart, return my heart to me. Return this lamb or suffer my curse. If you took my life, then take responsibility. Where is my heart? Return it, return it, return it. Return it. And Kieran wakes up screaming. Oh, it's Wraith, the ghost dragon slayer, spirit dragon slayer, whatever. I'm actually surprised we're seeing him again. Wraith claps his hands in Kieran's room, I guess, waking Kieran up, and he says, Are you alright, Kieran-kun? Kieran shakily says, Wraith, what happened? It's like my dragon spirit. Wait, no. Kieran says what happened, and Wraith says, it's like my dragon spirit. They appear before dragon eaters now and then. I'm a spirit myself, so I understand. Wraith then holds up a box, and Kieran asks, What's that? Wraith explains, I locked it in a box. That's all. Kieran's amazed. A soul in a box? Wraith explains, yes, but maybe it's a little small. Maybe a slightly bigger box would be better. I'll give this to you. Kieran's shocked. I don't want it. Just erase it or something. Kieran explains, this spirit still has lingering attachments to this world. It can't be erased, just as I can't be. You stole his life, so you must accept responsibility. You have no choice but to hear his voice and live with him. And you see Kieran just holding the box, absolutely apprehensive to the idea. Yeah, I never would have thought Wraith would have come into play again in any capacity. That one glue dragon slayer still hasn't either. And you hear from within the coffin Alexion's voice, Return my heart. And Kieran, I guess now being relieved that the curse may finally be lifted from him, shouts, That time is now! Alexion! And then the coffin begins to glow with a brilliant light. It starts to break apart and shatter. As Kieran says, this is what you were looking for. The man who has your heart. And as the coffin explodes, you see a hand holding a lacrima. Did Laxus? Oh, geez, he did. He ripped out his Dragon Slayer lacrima. How deeply buried was that in him? Because it looks like he just reached into his own heart. Like, dude, you're sternum. And yeah, Kira's just as shocked as I am. And Laxus, holding the lacrima, says, I told you, didn't I? I got no attachment to this lacrima in my body. And Kieran shouts, Impossible! That's the source of your magic power! Yet you ripped it out? Laxus says matter-of-factly, Yeah, I got so sick of your eat it, devour it crap, so I got rid of it. And he drops the lacrima to the ground. Kieran exclaims, Alexion! Is what I think about to happen? Is Laxus about to become like a first generation dragon slayer? You can see like the essence, I guess, of Alexion just swirling around Laxus. And Laxus says, "There's one huge thing you've got the wrong idea about." Kieran says, "What?" Laxus explains, "I heard Alexion's voice in that coffin. After all those years, you'd think being together would make Alexion get attached to you. But Alexion didn't think about you at all. The proud king of the Thunder Dragons, just kept thinking about getting his heart back. And his soul kept wandering, looking to protect his dignity and slay the one who desecrated his body. And the energy, spirit, essence of Alexion, it's like it's entering Laxus's body." What? Okay, Kieran is shocked. He says, "He did it to kill me?" And Laxus says, "Now he's met the guy who will slay you." As Laxus takes Alexion's soul and eats it. So consuming the soul, would that make Laxus fifth generation? Laxus consumes the soul of Alexion, and then Laxus raises his hand, black lightning crackling out of it, as he says, "This magic power is like roaring thunder." And then he unleashes it. Thunder Dragon King's Red Lightning! Okay, so it's Red Lightning, and it goes surging out of Laxus, striking at Kieran. Oh shit! Utterly decimating Kieran. And Laxus explains, "You thought I heard Alexion's voice? I was just playing you. That was magic power, so I ate it. Now, I feel free from my stupid dad's curse." So, what does that mean for Laxus? Is this a boost in power, having the essence of the Thunder King inside of him? I mean, major spoiler for original Fairy Tail, which I don't understand why you're here if you haven't seen or read original Fairy Tail. But Natsu, Wendy, Gajeel, Sting, and Rogue all had the souls, or whatever, the power of their dragons who raised them. They were inside of them, kind of making sure that their Dragon Force abilities, or their Dragon Slayer abilities, wouldn't transform them fully into dragons like it did Irene, Urza's mother. So, is that essentially what happened to Laxus? Was he imbued with the magical power of the Thunder Dragon King? I mean, is this power just now naturally his? And I gotta say, that's actually kind of hilarious, though. Laxus saying that Alexion was just demanding that he kill Kieran for desecrating his body, and it seems like he said it because he knew it would shake Kieran, and Kieran was just so desperate, just no longer hear Alexion's voice. It's just like, "Here's your heart, have it, be done with it." Then that makes me wonder what's gonna happen with the Lacrima. I kind of expected Laxus to crush it or do something with it, but he's not just gonna leave it there on the floor, is he? This was pretty cool. That was a dramatic moment. But it really does leave me wondering what's gonna happen next. Is he gonna leave it there? That would be such a waste. And he didn't actually off Kieran, right? I don't think he actually offed Kieran. And it does leave me wondering what happens to him next. What happens to Kieran? What happens to the Lacrima? Does Laxus now live in some kind of harmony with Alexion's magical power? How does that even work? Has Laxus... Because that's not the usual way you become a dragon slayer. It's either... is it technically he's become first generation? I don't know. First generation is taught dragon slayer art just by a dragon. Second generation has the Lacrima put in. Third generation is both taught and is given a Lacrima, which, I'm now kind of realizing that would mean Sting and Rogue's dragons removed their own hearts, turned it into crystals, and then inserted it within Sting and Rogue. Ugh. Oh god, I'm only just realizing that. That's really morbid. And yeah, you would have to make it so that dragons can live without their hearts. to some extent. And then again, Stinging Rogue's dragons, just like the rest, became spirits and possessed the bodies of Stinging Rogue to a certain degree as well. God, the mythology here is really kind of wild. It's essentially Dragonheart if you ever saw that movie to a certain degree. Like, I feel like Mashima just sat down and watched Dragonheart. It was just like, that's an interesting angle to go with. You have 4th generation dragon slayers who are automatons who have, I think it's it's been a while since I watched that movie, but they're, I think, mass-produced Dragon Slayer Lacrima only, and there's like a suit of armor placed around it. They're an army that you can command, and the 5th generation are Dragon Eaters. So, does Laxus fall in the 1st category, the 5th category, or is he like a new 6th category because he consumed Alexion's magical power? Like, Laxus essentially just pulled a Natsu and was just like, I'ma eat it! Like, what does that mean? Like, Natsu has such a habit of just being like, I'ma take this magical energy, damn if it is compatible with my body or gives me any lasting damage, I'ma eat it and give myself a boost. And here's Laxus just eating the essence of the Thunder Dragon King and gaining power from it. I mean, what does that mean for the future? Like, is he stronger now? Because he's essentially gotten it straight from the source to a certain degree. So wilded out by that. Okay, this is a situation where I really want your comment. What happened here? What do you think happened here? What has Laxus become? What kind of powers has he unlocked? What's gonna happen with the Lacrima? That raises so many questions for the next few chapters. Was Alexion's voice just all within Kieran's head the entire time? Nah, it couldn't be. He had to have actually been hearing Alexion's voice, because Wraith, he wasn't just saying he sealed away Alexion in a box to placate the young Kieran. Was he? That is so wild. The only member of the Diablos Guild we've actually gotten a flashback for, and it just raises even more questions as a whole. Like, what becomes of the relationship between Laxus and Kieran? Because, now they're kind of two halves of the same coin, aren't they? Kieran consumed Alexion's body. Laxus consumed Alexion's soul? Magical power, question mark? God, I'm so curious what happens next. And it's gonna be a couple of weeks until then. So hey, subscribe. That way we can talk about what happens next. I doubt we'll really get some answers off rip, but at least we'll find out what kind of powers Laxus has. Will he still be generating red lightning? Will it just be business as usual for him? Has he gotten a big boost? What does this mean for Laxus as a whole? So I hope you'll join me when I find out. But until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye!